I always thought I was pro-life until I found myself in that place. I just was not in a position to bring in a baby into my life. It just didn't fit. All of the variables that were involved at that time. I was divorced. I was a single mom raising 2 kids on $30,000 a year. I just felt like I just couldn't handle it. So I was supposed to have lunch with a friend, and I called her and I postponed it and said, you know, this is what's going on in my life. She went to her church, and a bunch of people got together and prayed, and they prayed that God would change my heart. And I just felt like I was pretty much on my own. I just felt like I had to take it into my own hands and have an abortion. So I went in, set the appointment, went in, and the doctor, there was an instrument, you know, and then he turned on the machine and the suctioning and all that happened. And I was crying at that time, but I just felt like this has got to be the right thing for me. And, you know, had the abortion. But I went back a week later, and the doctor came in and he says, we have the lining of your uterus and your pregnancy tissue, but no fetal tissue. We feel like you have a tubular pregnancy. And they did the ultrasound. I mean, they basically, they said, well, there it is. And I said, there, what is? You know, what do you mean? And they said, well, it's right where it's supposed to be. It's not in the tubes. And they said, you see that light blinking there? And I said, yes. What is going on? And so in that moment, when I saw that light blinking and it was his heartbeat, that's when it really became a life to me. And the doctor came in and he says, you know, I've done over 10,000 abortions and this has never happened. He goes, it's as if something was covering it. I knew that something supernatural had happened. He says, but at no charge, we'll go in and we'll do it again. And I said, no, we won't. I said, I'm not going to take my hand to this. And so it was God's unmerited favor in that situation. He spoke to me and he said, it's the power of prayer, because of the people that went before and stood in the gap to pray specifically for that situation. And that's why I truly believe Austin's life was spared. I was given a second chance because the abortion didn't work. You know, so I'm just really grateful. I loved him from the time he came into the world, and he's just a really incredible man. Great father, good husband, and he's just a blessing to me.